evening, keepers of the cash. Gary B, the casual comic guy here, and joining me just like every single Thursday, we have my good buddy Digger Jim. Jim, what is up with you tonight, sir?
Man, loving life, loving life. It's finally warming up a little bit up here, so I get to go digging. I love it.
Yeah, I'm just loving that the snow's going away. I'm done with
Yeah,
that. We're finished with that shit. No more
yeah, me
snow.
too.
And of course, this evening we are promoting and getting the word out on a book about the 1929 Valentine's Day Massacre coming out from Gangster Comics. And joining us tonight, we have Gabe, and we're going to make Gabe big here, and we're going to have Lukas joining us as well. But Gabe, good evening, sir. Great to see you and meet you. How are you doing today?
Doing wonderful. I was not able to leave work in time, so I'm secretly recording in the basement at a residential facility of naughty children. So hopefully,
Right.
well, but yeah, we're really excited to talk to you guys.
Nice.
Hey.
And of course, we got Lukas, and we'll
There
say
we
hi to
go.
Lukas. Lukas, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Just reread your stuff again before coming online, so it was fresh in my head. So, gentlemen, how this is going to work is since we got two of you, whoever's talking, we're going to make big and give you your time. We're going to say hi to the chat real quick, and then as people are getting their notifications and joining us, I'll give them a quick tip of the hat, but we won't interrupt you guys. We may field some questions here and there from the chat. But first in, as always, we got our man, Las Cruces. Good evening, James. Great to see you, sir. Ruby G, White Tiger, Cool, Calm, Collected. How you doing tonight, Ruby? Great to see you, buddy. All right, we have Paul from Psychedelic Comics. Good evening, Paul. Great to see you. We got Jim saying hi to everybody. From across the pond over in jolly old England, we have Mr. DVH. Great to see you, Mr. Von Hoots. How you doing tonight, sir? Someone's showing some great cards on his IG. Check those out. And as people are coming in, they're getting their notifications now. Like I said, I'll just give them a quick tip of the hat. We got some people in here that aren't talking yet. We'll give them a chance to get all their stuff going. But Lukas, we'll start with you. You reached out to me. I hadn't heard of this project. Checked it out. I was wowed by the art. I really like the art. But for those people who aren't familiar, let's do the introductory stuff first. What is Gangster Comics? Is this your first publication, or how many other publications have you had, and where can people find you? Now, I do have all your links in the description below, and I do have your website I can share and your Kickstarter I can share. But for now, go ahead and start us out, sir.
So you said
Right, oh, you want to go ahead? Yeah, this is.
No,
this
I see myself as big, so I don't know if he's.
He said Lukas, but he put Gabe in there. So
No, here you go.
Yeah,
you can both talk. There, we're all even now.
All right, well, I'll go first as far as the just real basic. So, Gangster Comics is just like we hope it'll be a publishing company. We'd like to get some other stuff. I have personally a lot of ideas. I am the writer. Lukas is the extremely talented artist who has done wonders with this project and just understood my vision from day one. We've had like very little edits. It's been a very smooth process so far. And Gangster Comics is just like we think it's like a cool, it's a good name for a bigger company. It doesn't necessarily have to only be about gangsters. However, our first project is the original Gangster, a historically inaccurate retelling of the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, which is our fully rhyming graphic novel about Al Capone and Bugs Moran. So we're very excited about, this first of hopefully many projects. And this is my first anything with, in this thing. So Lukas, he can talk a little bit more about how much more he has. He's done quite a bit more in the comic space, so he can go ahead.
Oh yeah. I've been in comics forever, but this one's been super fun for sure.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Like literally, I mean, I'm not blowing smoke or anything. The art blew me away. I love the art style.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
I love that splash page too. That splash page is really well done.
Thank you.
Well, and some cool perspectives. The one, and we'll get to it at some point, but I got to mention it because it's the one piece that blew me away. Is when you have the 7 bodies there, and it's just a different angle of the famous crime shot.
Yes.
I thought that was so well done. I just like the
Thanks.
different perspective, but you instantly recognized what it was.
Yeah. I had to use the original photograph for that one. You know, I had to
Now-
expand it a little bit here and there, but
Yeah, it looked
Definitely
fantastic. It
Yeah.
came out so well.
We
Now, I
added,
gotta
we added a
ask you
couple
guys,
bodies
though.
there. It was like, because I was like, all the ones I could find, there was no good image of all 7, but I'm like, I know it was 7 guys. So I was just like, hey man, just, you know, do whatever you want to do to get them in there. And then he was talking about the thing I really like. That one and page 8 are my 2 favorites so far. Page 8 is the one with the guy just getting shot by the dudes in the back.
That was Jim's favorite.
That was that was like the splash page. Yeah.
I love that
The
one.
bullet going through the eyeball from the back of the head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
To me, that was my.
that was a great one. And so for page 4, it was like he was trying to explain to me how the lighting would work, and he was saying, hey, can we, like, you know, we don't really see the top of the warehouse if I put a window up there, and I couldn't like really picture it. And so then when he sent me the first, you know, thing, it's just he just kind of created the top, you know, 25% of the image. We have no idea what that warehouse looks like in real life unless we visit it. So he's just like, hey, we can put a window up there and make it a little more daytime, and it worked out beautifully. That's probably
and
my
it's
favorite.
partly fiction. You're retelling a story in your own way, so it doesn't matter, right? You need a little creative freedom with it.
For sure.
Out of all the gangster stories out there, of which there are many,
Yes.
why the 1929 Valentine's Day Massacre? What's special about it to you guys?
So this was so I was an Uber driver in Phoenix, and I had attempted to launch a dating app that did not go very well. And I was 24, 25, this was like 8 years ago. And I had a business partner who was not very, he had a lot of failings, but one of his things that he was really good at was he was like a very good hype man. And he was like, hey, you know, you haven't written anything in a long time, so maybe you should write something. It might make you feel better. Things aren't going the way we want to. So I kind of like rolled my eyes, but then I started carrying a notebook with me everywhere I went. And after an Uber ride, I popped into a pizza place, and there was a picture of Al Capone on the wall that just said the original gangster. And I was like, you know, I always like to write in rhyme. This is kind of my thing. And I was like, the original gangster. Oh, the one with the scars. Okay, all right. He was sitting alone in the back of his bar. And so that was enough. I jumped up, ran out to my car, grabbed the notebook, came back in. I wrote the first chapter, the prologue, like in the diner or the pizza restaurant, wrote the chapter 1 the next day.
So right away it was going to be a rhyming book, because that's how the concept came to you.
It was a rhyming story before it was ever going to be a graphic novel. So it was just like messing around, and I was like, okay, well, what do I know about Al Capone? I was like, all right, well, Valentine's Day Massacre is one of the most interesting, you know, things attached to his name. So why don't we just, you know, and not a lot to known about the truth. So we were like, why don't we? Or I was
really curious how that was going to work out, and I have to say the rhymes are smooth. It like when I read it, it was just quick. Like it was just everything flowed really nice.
Yeah, I take a lot of pride in that. It's really kind of a hard sell if you've never thought of something like this, like Dr. Seuss for adults. I find that a lot of people, when they write like rhyming stories, kind of just slap rhymes together and hope for the best, and because you can get a message across. But my thing is, like, every one of the stanzas is written as a sentence first, so it's a sentence, and then I reform it into a rhyme scheme to like get the major point of one stanza across. So yeah, that was a very fun, trying to explain that to people, and it just the farther we go into the story, it becomes way more like character driven. The first 2 chapters are really just kind of set up and storybooky, but it's very dialogue-y, character heavy, and the whole thing rhymes. So I do it's a lot of effort sometimes for one stanza.
Really, I would say so. Really, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but it's a neat hook. It is a really interesting hook.
It'll be good when it's done. We're very excited. So
yeah.
So Lukas, I got to ask, one of the things that really stood out to me, and I think it's one of the understated things in comics, and it's a reason why I like some of the comics I like now. But the coloring, did you do the coloring as well?
Yeah, all the art's me, man. Yeah.
The coloring really pops in this
Amazing.
in this
Thanks, man.
novel.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We were we were trying to really capture like the old timey feel, and Gabe had the idea for like a sepia tone that comes into color as it like goes forward. So all the backgrounds will like sort of fade away into like a muted sort of color, and then as it comes forward, you get more of a what would be realistic, I guess, kind of. And that's been some of my favorite parts too, is just like getting it to where it contrasts really heavily with the backgrounds. It's been super fun. So for a long time I only worked in black and white, but like now it's one of my favorite things to do is the coloring. So I'm really proud of how it's coming out in this book.
Well, you wouldn't be able to tell that you just worked in black and white because the coloring just absolutely it complements the art, but two, it pops and it actually helps that story come alive.
And you have some tight lines. I mean, I like the when Bugs Moran starts to smile and his face goes up. I love that. That was great. I was like, it reminded me of that. I was like, wow, this is sort of like Dr. Seuss. But at the same time, it was like Gary was saying, the whole piece just popped as I was reading. I was like, wow, this really comes out of your page. That one piece was coming out at the page, and it was telling the story and keeping it flowing very well in time with the words. The only thing that was hard for me, and it's because I wear glasses and I'm an old man, is the lettering itself. I had to blow it up because I was like, what is that word? And I'm thinking I should know that word because he just said this word and it rhymes. But that was for me personally. But at the same time, I loved it when he blew the smoke out and the words came out in smoke. That was killer. I was like, now that is sick. I really like that.
Yeah, the lettering I still probably need to tinker with it a little bit. It's a custom font based on my handwriting, so it's like it's a tough one to get across properly because I just didn't want to use like a generic whatever comic font. So I tried to make something a little bit unique, but it can be difficult to read, so I need to tinker with it a little bit.
It's also going to be like we're doing a big book, so like we wanted to, we really want like this to be, and like even regardless of how the Kickstarter turns out, we're finishing this thing, so it's like it's going to be a big, hefty hardback dust sleeve. So hopefully by that time the pages are going to be perfectly legible for everybody. So it'll be good. But yeah.
Now, what about panel structure? Because the way the pages are set up, I love the way they lead into each other.
Yeah.
Was that a collaboration between you two? Did you direct Lukas and what you wanted for page setup, or did you just let Lukas go with his vision?
I have like really, I have insane ADHD, and like I love, picking up a task and like, I can kind of do anything. One thing I never really got good at was drawing. Like I never really just like did it for more than, periodic things. Like I have these really, really bad sketches that, and so I'll send him like I have a composition notebook with this page here. Let's try this down here, and we can have him saying this line, and I'll just kind of like draw little squiggles for the dialogue and have them numbered with the stanzas. And then he'll come in with his comic knowledge and be kind of like, hey, this, like, for example, like that page 8, that was the dude getting shot, was not going to be, it was going to be like the bottom of page 7 was going to be on the top of that page. And he was like, this is way better as a page turn. So why don't we try to squeeze this in at the bottom of page 7, and then we can have that as a page turn. I was like, okay, yeah. So now I'm kind of learning the lingo and learning how some of that stuff lines up. But yeah, it's like I kind of give him the initial layouts, and then he'll be like, hey man, this is going to be better, trust me. And I'm like, all right, I'll trust you.
I mean,
it works out.
I mean, did you go to school for art or something? Because it's really, your lines are really clean.
Oh no, thank you, but I'm self-taught. I've just been drawing for my entire life. This is like, I think when I was like 12 or something, I was like, I want to be a comic book artist, and I've just like never stopped pushing for it, basically. So I've done it my whole life, so I'm glad some of the work is showing.
Right.
So how did you two come together for this project?
Reddit.
We found each other on Reddit. I'm on there looking for new work, and Gabe's like post had so much detail and like a great little excerpt of it. I was like, Jesus Christ, a whole graphic novel that all rhymes, I was like super impressed by it. So I was like, I have to be part of this project. So I hit him up. We were talking for a while. I did like an Al Capone sketch that I really liked. And ever since then, man, we've been working together.
Yeah, I weeded through a couple. So he was my top two, and there was another guy who was like a front runner. But the guys, the way that the guy was like messaging me back, it wasn't like it didn't seem like English was the second language. Like it seemed like, but he just had weird grammar, and he was not responding well. And I was just like, and Lucas was like on top of it. You know, we communicate mostly with voice memos now on, texting voice memos. And so it's just like one long continuous conversation. Like we haven't actually like talked on the phone live like this since the first time we met and now. So it's just been one continuous conversation for the past like 4 months. So it's been really it's been really smooth in that way. But yeah, the Reddit thing was like you get all kinds of people blowing you up. I'm like, just let me know. And people that like I had tried somebody on Fiverr that did not understand the vision at all, and I was like, I can't do 3 weeks on every page. Like this is gonna take forever. So I need someone who gets the vision. And someone, the girl I was talking to was calling him AI Capone, and I was like, it's not. It's like I need someone who kind of is at least remotely familiar with gangster lore in the United States.
Right.
AI Capone.
Well,
yeah, AI Capone. I was like,
you guys want to go to your website a second and just show the people some of this art and some
absolutely,
of the
please.
And we'll let you guys talk through it.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna scroll through it, and we're gonna let you guys talk about it because the art is beautiful.
So good.
I love the font of the original Gangster.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. It's like we wanted to go for a storybook kind of thing. So that font and the handwriting font are fonts that I made for this project, and I just thought the ornate lettering of old-timey storybooks would work really well here. So
I got a chuckle out of the historically inaccurate retelling of the Saint Valentine's Day massacre.
Yeah, it's very inaccurate. So we keep it accurate where we can, like for the stuff there's no point embellishing, but the story is pretty out there. The full story is very wild.
Right, and again, here's some more of that flow and the coloring and the lighting, especially the lighting behind the guy talking to Al Capone. The lighting in this is amazing.
Thanks. Yeah, we wanted like a really smoky underground speakeasy, and that's a tone where it fades away into like, and you can see there at the bar, the people sitting there don't really have color, and we wanted that to really contrast with the foreground.
Yeah.
And the
well, and the shadow work on Capone himself is amazing too.
Page 1 with the hand was like, I was like, okay, that's really awesome. Page 2 was when I was like, oh, this is gonna be fucking amazing.
Yeah, I thought the hand was great. That's why I used it for the thumbnail. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
I love that as an opening too.
It's a good attention getter because it tells a lot in just a simple image.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm not saying the art's simple, but I mean just like a hand, the cigar, just it puts you in it sets a tone.
Yeah.
It was a time too because I had to research cigar brands that he would have had. It was a good time.
Yeah, and I sent it to my best friend who was just like, he's really, detail oriented and was like, he was like, oh, wow, I think that's actually what Capone smoked. Like, that's really cool because he's a big guy. He loves Boardwalk Empire. That's like one of our favorite shows in college. So
here's what Jim was talking about too with the lettering and the smoke, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fun page.
Yeah. We kind of have like, there hasn't been a moment in the most recent ones where that's kind of made sense, but that was originally part of the vision was like, because of the rhyming thing, I kind of wanted to create little parts that kind of inspire, like taught people how to read it as they were reading it. So it was kind of like, he exhaled some smoke and inhaled some air, like so they know what to hit based on what's being said or whatever when they're reading it. Because some of it, it's like it flows perfectly when I read it, but if you don't know the pauses, sometimes I can see why it might be like difficult. Like I've spent a lot of time working on the flow. And so I wanted to do, and so yeah, we'll probably come into some really cool like onomatopoeia type stuff where there's just, it makes more sense to do like an artsy word instead of a font word in some later chapters, you know.
Now, and I was going back and forth on this. So Lucas, for a self-taught artist, and this for a first-time published comic from you, Gabe. A lot of problems I see on first-time comics are most of the characters have the same expression. Lucas, you did a great job with expressions on this. You could tell the mood, you could tell the intent instantly when you're looking at these characters.
Right.
Yeah, that was a big thing that Gabe said right away, is this is like going to be a cartoony, goofy, funny thing. So the characters need to be super expressive.
Yeah.
But it comes across appropriately serious too.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
they're serious in their own world. Their decisions
right.
are serious, but we're
I love exaggerated expressions and like cartoon stuff. So that's something that hugely inspired me, was like old rubber hose cartoons.
Yeah.
It comes out, I think, in the page with the car driving down, how it kind of jumps off the page.
Bouncing off the road was like that.
Right.
Yeah, I think when I described it, I was like because like Capone is like, you know, I don't know if you can probably tell, Capone's not going to come out on top. He's, you know, that's without saying too much. He's not, you know, he comes out on top in real life. It's inaccurate. He's, you know, he doesn't get the last laugh. And so I'm kind of making him like, you know, a poor man's idea of a rich man, you know, a weak man's idea of a strong man kind of guy. And so like all of his like, his anguish needs to be like, you know, like Eeyore and like and then his like happiness needs to be like a Disney character floating through the air for pie. You know, like he needs to be that, like very just like
with
like,
the nose twitching, following the scent.
Yeah.
So, and I want to talk about this scene. This is the one I thought was great because this instantly reminded me of the picture.
Yeah. I had to use that image for the reference, but I think it turned out nicely. Even you can't tell too much that I added like a bunch of stuff, but I think it works this way.
Now,
well, I mean, if you don't know the picture, you're never going to know that anyway. So that's great.
Yeah, that's true.
now, Lucas, obviously, Gabe knew about this story. Did you know anything about this old occurrence before starting to work with Gabe, or was this all new to you?
This was actually completely new to me. I knew like about Al Capone vaguely, and that, you know, he existed, but not much else, honestly. So this was all pretty new to me. So I did a bunch of research before going in and doing this. I did a bunch of exploratory sketches of like the era too, to get like the clothes and cars and the look of Chicago right and everything as well.
Yeah, and these two character shots, the contrast here is great between them. Like they couldn't be more different. But they're both in the same kind of business.
Right.
And I like that they each have their own, like the Al Capone, between Al Capone and that goon Bugs Moran. But the thing is, the two different fonts for both of them, like the Al Capone one just seems instantly recognizable.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
And it fits him. That's the key. It fits him.
Yeah.
Well, the lines in that fit the lines too, and
right. Yeah, no, you drew him perfectly. I mean, without a doubt. I mean, he was a short, stocky kind of. I mean, it fits his build. You know, Bugs Moran, I think, was a. I don't know if he was super tall, but he's definitely taller than Capone was.
So Bugs was supposed to be like, they're similar builds, and the thing was that. So I think probably maybe a year after I had the idea for the story, it kind of settled as a graphic novel in my mind. So I had been picturing a lot of these, just the first, like the prologue pages for a long time. I had those ideas, those layouts kind of, you know, before I took pen to paper for my crappy sketches. I knew kind of what it was going to be. And my goal was like Capone in the white suit ruling over like the dirtier South Side, and Bugs is not making as much money, but he's like in charge of the classier North Side aspect. And like in real life, you know, Bugs detested Capone for his whoremongering and like hedonism and stuff. So that's kind of that's not fully in the story, but it's kind of worked in. It kind of there's an undertones of, you know, the Irish Catholic. And
and Bugs was kind of a chubby face guy too.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, they both, but he was, and Bugs was, Bugs because his short temper is how he got the name Bugs. He's more likely to bug out, but I kind of, he's more the thorn in Capone's side is the.
But I thought making Bugs a little leaner in the face really helped identify the characters separately and draw the differences between them.
Making him tall and lanky was just kind of a way to really separate him, and the tie that's too long and the just like super thin face with a big mouth. I think it just like helps characterize him a lot better. And I'd never heard of him before. I think a lot of people reading it might just not realize that we completely changed him just for the book.
Well, I think the people that are reading it are just going to be enjoying the story.
Yeah. Definitely.
I mean, and you
because I didn't think about his appearance while reading the story. I just enjoyed the prose and the art.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of people like, if for that one guy that reads it, that's like, hey, Bugs Moran was shorter than that, then more power to him.
It's not historically. When you say it's not, it's historically inaccurate.
It's not historically accurate.
Right, it's historically accurate. Get over it.
Now, do you want me to play this for the audience?
Yeah, if it's working, if it works on desktop, great. But it's only working on the thing.
Well, let's give her a shot. You ready?
Yeah, that'd be great. Sure.
Prologue. The original gangster. The original gangster, the one with the scars, was sitting alone in the back of his bar. The evening had been uneventful so far, so he sat and took puffs from his Cuban cigar. "Hey, boys," came a voice from a few feet away. "There's a guy wants to see you. Would that be okay? He knocks and keeps knocking, but knocking all day, and it seems as though he may have something to say." He exhaled some smoke and inhaled some air and ran a few fingers through thinning black hair. Then he stared at his man with that cold, icy stare and said, "Let them again. What the fuck do I care?" The story that follows may sound quite absurd, but forget what you know, what you thought, or you heard. The story I tell is of a huge massacre, and Valentine's Day was the day it occurred. Now, when I say massacre, please understand I refer to a prank war that got out of hand between Al Capone and that goon, Bugs Moran. And that night in the bar is the night it began. Chapter 1, Chicago. In the time leading up to the stock market crash, Capone and Moran had been stacking their cash, and it wasn't from drugs or collecting your trash, but from selling off chunks of their alcohol stash. But it was the 20s, and yes, they were roaring. You could go out at night and party till morning, but whatever you did, it would hardly be boring, for booze were illegal. And still, they were pouring. In a market so fresh and so ripe for the taking, there was so much dough for a schmo to be making. You'd believe a bootlegger would bring home the bacon, but this was Chicago. So you'd be mistaken. Chicago was split into two different sides. In the south was Capone, Little Italy's pride. In the north was Moran, where the Irish reside, and from whom your baboos was for you to decide. Now, for Moran, you will find this was perfectly fine, for he did not mind staying north of the line. "I don't care, we can share. Chicago's not mine." But not Al Capone. It was not his design. And that was the problem that became quite apparent. Capone was not one to just grin and bear it. "I've got a temper. Moran should beware it. Chicago is mine. I do not plan to share it."
Yes.
The flow is really nice. And I don't know who did the voice.
The original gangster. The one with
let me pause it here.
Alone in the back of his bar.
But it played well. So who put the trailer together and did all the readings?
My voice and Lucas putting together the images. Yeah. So
yeah, I had to learn video editing just for this.
Man, wow, good job. Hey, what's up, guys? Kelly Comics. Good evening, Comic Addicts. Is that a vampire? No. This is their Kickstarter. This is about the Valentine's Day Massacre in 1929.
Yep.
But yeah, so that was great. And I had waited to watch that trailer till here. I knew it was there, and I didn't touch it.
Oh wow! Well, I'm glad you like it. Yeah, some of the new ones, like we're talking about, if we don't make the goal, we'll continue to release like chapter by chapter in that thing. Those two I have super memorized. Like it's just like mouth noises at this point because I have I did them so many times for Uber passengers. I would pick up like drunk frat guys in Phoenix and just be like, "Hey man, like I'm the next Dr. Seuss. Want me to prove it?" And they'd be like, "Yeah." And I would do that, get really big tips, and so. And then if I would always say, "Hey, like I can do chapter 2 and chapter 3 too if you want me to." So I was, I've recorded that. I've done that particular thing like 1,000 times at this point, But yeah, so it's always fun to record them and do those voices because it did start off in more of a performative thing than a book. But
now, talk a minute about where you take some liberties with this story and have some fun with it.
Absolutely, so many things. So
like list some highlights for people to look forward to.
Yeah, so real quick, just the real story is that Capone was trying to take over all of Chicago. He's got the South Side locked down. The only thing stopping it is Bugs Moran in the North. And he, though he was in Florida at the time, Capone allegedly sent 2 of his guys dressed as cops in a fake raid and put all the men on the wall. And instead of arresting them, they just Tommy gunned them. Now, that's the true story. And like the only person he really wanted to hit was Bugs Moran. But Bugs Moran miraculously survived. So some people say he overslept. Some people say he was getting coffee next door. Some people think he was tipped off. Whatever the reason, all of his men died. And that was the final thing before Capone became the undisputed king of Chicago. So we are retelling it as a prank war. So basically, Bugs Moran is a wily Irishman who is not letting, every time Capone thinks he's getting ahead, he pulls some pranks. Like he spikes his drink at New Year's Eve. I wrote a chapter about Capone having this big, like lavish, Great Gatsby style New Year's Eve party every year, which is not true. And he spikes his Templeton rye so that he shits himself right at midnight, like on all of his guests, and embarrasses himself. And everybody, like, oh, this party sucks. I'm going to Moran's, and it's like his pride. It's always about his pride. There is a fictional whorehouse called Wang's Rub and Tug, and it is owned by Mrs. Wang, the Chinese proprietor, who's a very sharp cookie and does not, take much of Al Capone's bullshit. And that comes into play, and she has a very big selection of whores. And she has her special redheaded whore who lives in the attic upstairs, and she's like the talk of the town. Everybody wants a piece, and it's Capone's favorite, and she's a big part of it. Bugs Moran's men. There's a man with a mustache who is known as the Mook, and the Mook is kind of the face of Bugs' pranks. So he will show up and whenever a prank goes down, the Mook is lurking around the corner, and Capone thinks he's going crazy. And we haven't fully, we have most of the story. A lot of it is written. We have towards the end a couple chapters that we're still rearranging the order of, and we're going to have a chapter called The Mustache Murders, where Capone just goes on a tirade and sends his goons out and just gets every man with a mustache in the city of Chicago all looking for this Mook. And there's just a lot of liberties. And then we have Elliot Ness and the Untouchables, and but it really comes down to Bugs Moran is always 10 steps ahead, and that's the message we have here. And the ending, I don't want to spoil it, but the ending is very, very fun. So we're very happy with the ending.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Lucas,
keep the things. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh,
go ahead.
So Lucas, while working on this project, what was your greatest creative leap? That something you hadn't done before when working on this? Because I wanted to mention when we were looking through that, I love the way when it goes pouring, the drinks were pouring. I love the way you did the font on that and included that as the alcohol with the pouring. But what was your great? What was your most fun and the creative leap you took that you're most proud of with this project?
Yeah, I think now, as you mentioned, I was gonna say the lettering was like a big thing in this book. So I did a lot of custom fonts. That was a huge stretch for me. Like I've done custom fonts before, but not this many and not this varied sort of. So being able to incorporate a bunch of different stuff, and Gabe's been, giving me all these ideas for them. And you know, the storybook one, the Al Capone big like deco font one. I really love all the fonts that we've done for this. But also, I've always loved cartoony art, but I've never done like the proper like rubber hose crazy. You get some of it in the Bugs Moran chapter where he's going crazy. His face starts
the smile
too much.
Right.
The car that's just like jumps over the hill.
Right. I was gonna say that whole bar cart thing was funny.
Yeah. It's stuff that I've liked and sort of leaned into before, but this is where I've been really able to push that a lot further. So I'm really happy with how that's turning out.
The bar cart is one of my favorites because that was Lucas. So it was my idea to have him I was like, it'd be really funny if he just turns around and he's got like all these really various like ridiculous drinks made. And he's
drinks, right?
Like 7 beers. He's got like a Long Island and a gin and Lucas was like, oh, I could have him doing like the 10 arms thing, and I was like, that's like perfect. Like I didn't even think of that. That's amazing. That's really good. So I really love that page. That's a good one.
Yeah, the whole scene is super fun to me. Just the cartooniness, the super expressive, all the different drinks were really fun to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, here, if you guys want to show that one you're talking about, I'll bring that panel up from my emails.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Just because you talked about it, so let me.
Yeah, that one's fun.
Share screen. Let's see, because there we go. So there we go.
Yeah.
Right, the slicing, the dicing.
Right, he's slicing and dicing.
You got all the different.
He's working hard.
Drinks there. So just some fun art, and this one's good too. Like there's where the face is starting to go a little devious. You got the tray of drinks there.
You see I see in the background the 4-leaf clover, but it doesn't catch me until that next page, and I'm like, oh, that's what he did.
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, the luck of the Irish.
That was the last minute shift where Lucas had it up, and I was like, it'd be so cool if he like put that on like a going to war thing. So that's like one of the only maybe like later stage edits where I was like, I'm sorry to make you do this, man. Can we try to have him smash that and put that up?
And a good bit of little one panel comedy here with the goon trying to count on his fingers the amount of men that are left.
Yes, thank you. I was like hoping so. I was like, I know that's gonna play in the book. I hope it gets, because 7 remain, half of us quake. I'm like, well, how do you split 7? Yeah. They're like, hey, what?
Be great.
So
good stuff. All right, we're gonna take a quick look now at your Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And we'll let you guys. We'll let you talk about the Kickstarter here. We'll go through the levels real quick before we start the wrap up. Let me just get it to the top of the page before I share it. Make sure we're all set. And oh my gosh, StreamYard, I have to jump through so many hoops for you now. StreamYard changed a lot of stuff, and they just made like excessive screens. Oh. All right, so the original Gangster, Gabe Powell, of course. Talk about your tiers. So you got your associate tier, which I'll let you discuss it as we go through it real quick.
Yeah, so we came up with, I was just like, it might be cool to make them all gangster based. So the associate is just super basic. That's just the digital copy, so you can get everything.
Right, read it on your Kindle or digital reader.
Yeah, you're getting the book. Yep. And then let me see. So then after the associate, we have the Gangster, which is the hardback, and that comes with the some stickers. Everybody will get like their, you can have your name, social media handle that'll be online on our Immortal Donors Wall of Fame and on and in the back of the book. So if you donate anything, it'll be put up there. Then we have our Maiden Man, which will get the radio show as well. So like that was me in my closet just doing, putting some soundproof socks behind the mic. That'll be a little more higher quality. Get some other voice actors in there. Like I'll probably do Capone and the narrator, and then get a few people for different characters, hopefully, and get some some women in there for the lady parts, so that I don't hurt my vocal cords trying to go that high. And then that's that one is just like will be a lot of fun to do. We'll do that anyway. And then the Capo regime. So that one is like I really that one's a cool one because you can get your name hidden in some of the images. So if that could be like like a shirt brand on somebody, or a brand of alcohol, or the name of a restaurant, or just a sign on the road in the city of Chicago, one of these things. A lot of that. And then you also will get a Team Capone or Team Moran t-shirt. So you get Capone on the black shirt and Moran on the white shirt. And then for our special St. Patty's cover, because we go until St. Patty's Day, so our St. Patty's cover will you can get a green shirt. But it's only
nice.
only Team Moran on that one, though. There's no you have to be fully Irish for that one. You have to subscribe.
Right.
Yeah. And then the boss tier is the 200 level, so it's got they're all cumulative, so everything else you get below. And then you'll get you get your name in the back, but you'll also get a donor portrait. So Lucas will hammer out a little portrait of you, and kind of like yearbook style. He envisioned like three, just normal 3x3 panel type thing, and if you want to give a quote, you can.
Oh wow!
In our little yearbook in the back, and then the Godfather one. And that one also comes. The boss here will also come with a framed signed poster from one of the pages. We'll probably, by the time we're done, we'll pick some of the more popular pages. Probably the page 4, page 8 will definitely be some of the options, but then I'm sure we're gonna have some really cool ones later too. That'll be some of the prints. And then the Godfather one will have all of that, and then you can be a character. So we'll do a create a character level, and you can if you want to be, if you're a lady and you want to be in the whorehouse, or if you want to be a flapper, or you want to be just a party guest at the New Year's Eve party, or a speakeasy patron, whatever you want, we'll be very open to those people that want to do it. And then also you'll get the original paper, as my little, just trying to come up with a fun, catchy way to remember it. That'll be, I keep all the notebook paper. I write everything on notebook paper first, and then when I'm done with them, I rip them out and upload them onto Google. So I have all the papers, and so you'll get a framed picture with, like, if you have, page 7, you'll get the stanza from page 7 in a frame with a copy of page 7 signed by, he'll sign the artwork, I'll sign the crappy notebook paper with my very terrible handwriting, but it'll just be a fun little keepsake,
And this one,
so yeah, that's
all gone.
What is that? Oh yeah, we did. We had our limited release Valentine's Day cover, and then we have our main cover, which is we call it Caponezilla, which is the one with him standing, just kind of terrorizing Chicago with a Tommy gun.
Right.
And then
we have quite a few limited editions that are.
Yeah, and then we do, and then we have that. So that's going to be the main one, is the Caponezilla. Then we have, if like 30 people ask to do it, we'll do it, and it'll be, if it's an add-on for a whorehouse, like not safe for work cover. So we'll just go, balls out, whatever people want. And then we have our St. Patty's Day, and so the Valentine's Day and St. Patty's Day kind of mirror each other, and they both have a bunch of Easter eggs, and they have like a lot of stuff like about the pranks, about the overall story. And so once they, Lucas is almost done with the St. Patty's Day one, and I love it. It's amazing. It's got everything.
Matthew from Comics by the Bay wants to know, if he backs it, if his character can be a hot dog.
We told him no. He can't be a hot dog.
Absolutely.
If you do a portrait, if you want to do a portrait at the end, and then you can put some mustard on it, big boy, or whatever you want. Yeah, for sure. So if that's your quote, you want to do, if you're talking about the portraits, yeah, we'll draw. Lucas can draw a hot dog.
I'll even put you in a hot dog costume in the New Year's Eve party if that's what you want.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Historically
The
inaccurate.
Chicago dog.
Party.
because he's got some long running hot dog jokes on YouTube. That's why he
yeah, absolutely.
The hot dog fanatic. Crazy.
No, that'd
Right?
be great.
And you get to be immortalized as a hot dog.
You can be immortalized. I love hot dogs. So, you know, can't go wrong with a hot dog. And then our last cover though is the one that's, so every one of these that I've described is a dust cover, but they all come with the secret cover, which is underneath all of them. So that one will only be revealed once it's like in people's hands. So that one is, Lucas hasn't done it yet. It's not a priority, but he's done the sketch for it, and it's my favorite by far. It's going to be really cool. And the other ones are all great too, but that one's going to be, you know, the secret sauce to the whole story underneath. So very, very fun.
Nice.
Yeah. Any hot dogs, we'll entertain all characters. Anybody that wants to jump in, feel free.
So now,
awesome.
Between you two, give the people who are going to watch this on the replay and the ones that are with us right now, give them the final pitch. Why take a chance on this? And we obviously know the art's fantastic, the lettering's great, the coloring's amazing, the writing's fun and it flows. But what's your hard sell to the people who are watching?
So this is going to be it's a very well thought out story, and it's going to be entertaining, and the ending is very satisfactory. You won't be like, oh man, I'm not happy with how, like, the story itself is good. But however, we have both already discussed the idea of making the historically inaccurate retellings an anthology, and we have several other stories that we've already talked about. And if we were able to do all this, we would be able to expedite the whole process. If we had enough, you know, some of our stretch goals are to get Lucas a colorist or a flatter or something to help him get these pages out faster, and we can you know, I just want to tell stories for a living, and if I can get this first one done, I can get, you know, I'll write the fans a lot of great fun stories. So
now you did say it's a big book. What kind of page count are we looking at for the people that are buying into this?
Page count for we're looking around 225 to 250 for the page count, but I meant physically big. It's going to be like a big, you know, I think we landed on like 7.7 by 11 or something. I found a size that I really liked at Barnes and Noble and then measured it. It's like, this is for like I think it was like
a coffee table book almost. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
So Matthew's asking if you could hang one picture behind you on the wall, what would it be?
Ooh,
one picture behind
anything or from the book. If we're talking about from the book, I'd probably right now it would probably be a big poster of the St. Patty's Day once it's done. Yeah, that would probably be the St. Patty's Day cover is definitely amazing. That's, you know.
Now, are you going to do any cover reveals anytime soon?
Yeah, so we have the St. Patty's. So the St. Patty's Day one will be up in the next couple of days, and we'll start promoting that on our Instagram and just trying to get people to check it out. That one's only available the last week, so
the main cover is up right now, though, isn't it?
Yeah, the main cover is up right now. So we have the Valentine's Day cover is gone, but it's up, and then the main cover is up right now. The St. Patty's Day one will be up in the next couple of days, and then we haven't done the Mrs. Wang's one. We also have add-ons for short stories. So we have Mrs. Wang Comes to America, which the plan for that is just like kind of inserting her into a bunch of famous movie scenes, like just having her like be the inspiration for a bunch of really classic, you know, war stories, heroic stories, whatever, and that's how she got here and ended up with her brothel. And then Goons Day Out, which is Capone's goons going around the town and leads up to the events of chapter 8. So that one will be, it's not quite necessary for the story, so it'll just be a fun little background of how they got where they are. But yeah, those are add-ons, and we'll do cover reveal probably the next couple of days, I think. So
Oh, nice. So they can follow you at Gangster Comics.
Yes.
On Instagram.
On Instagram, yes. And Gangster Comics.
And I have that link in the description so people can find it easy.
Perfect.
And let's see. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to share your Instagram for a second so people can see some of these covers. And so there we go.
Just got a new follower.
All right, so here's some of your beautiful covers. We got the beautiful original Gangster right there, which is just that's a really nice cover.
Yep. That one's the Valentine's Day one. It's sold out, unfortunately. But if you back at the boss level, correct me if I'm wrong, Gabe, you can still get
Boss and Godfather are still
Boss and Godfather.
Yeah, I believe. Definitely Godfather. I can't remember if we did Boss.
And then that's my favorite cover right there. It's the Capone.
The Capone?
It's the main
Capone Villa.
This is my
that's
favorite
cool.
one. When Gabe was telling me about the idea for it, I was like, that's awesome. I can't wait to do this one. And I love how it turned out.
And again, great coloring on it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, the sepia thing, the original idea was just to do full sepia except for blood. And I was like, that'll probably get really monotonous. And I was kind of thinking of like Sin City or something I had seen. I'm not super familiar with it. But then we kind of talked about it. And I was like, I don't know, that would be monotonous. He's like, well, I could try it with sepia tone and then have the color stuff. Like whatever is prominent in the scene can be a color. And then the background can just be a sepia old-timey Chicago. And we rolled the dice and it turned out really nicely.
Now this was Jim's favorite shot here.
Oh yeah. I love that one.
Great one.
Going back to the question, I think that would be the poster that I'd put up behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a close second for me. Page 4 is definitely my favorite, the massacre page.
Katie? Now this is K-Pop Junkie who I told you to reach out to, Katie.
Yes, I reached out to her. I don't know if I might not have responded to her. It'd be really nice to do another interview.
Yeah, and she is way better at promoting these than I am. She is the GOAT. She is the GOAT at it.
Oh, this has been great, man. This has been great.
Yeah, this is so much fun. I feel like a celebrity.
I know the book looks fantastic.
It really does.
I'm super.
I mean, the art really is impressive.
Thank you.
And the flow of the narrative is just as impressive.
Yeah.
And for a first book, I couldn't find any grammatical errors. I really couldn't find any flaws in the art. It was just everything I thought worked very cohesively, very well together.
Yes. Thank you so much.
It doesn't feel like a first-time project.
Thank you. Thank you so much. No, I mean, because it's not. It's definitely he's done more. I've been sitting on this. The reason I did this is because I have so many ideas and they're all kind of sometimes a little too big. And I was like, what's like the least number of cooks in the kitchen? What's the most simple thing I can do that requires me and someone else? And I was like, let me dust this one off. Let's go to town on this one so that I don't have to, I got to find one good dude and a printing company later. And
an all rhyming comic for those people out there that say they want something different. You got something different.
That is something different.
That they want something original. They want something not done before. Well, here it is.
250 pages of rhyming is still nuts to me. It's crazy.
Yeah,
right?
It's insane.
It's awesome. It's going to be great when it's done.
The kids will love it. I'm sure.
The kids will love it, yeah.
Another Dr. Seuss book, but a little edgier.
Dr. Seuss.
It's something the fathers can read to the kids for bedtime.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
Give them nightmares.
It's just a little edgy.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's cool.
But great stuff, gents. It was an absolute pleasure meeting you guys.
Yeah, it was great
so much.
Show, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, this has been really fun. I'm talking to K-Pop Junkie now to set up something else.
Well, You guys are gonna love Katie. She's awesome.
Yeah.
She's one of the best people in our community. You guys got to be prepared to probably nonstop giggle while you're on her show.
Oh, great! That would be awesome. I love.
And you're gonna get a lot more hot dog questions from Matthew over there.
Well, that's good. Hey, for real, man. Matthew, you can be a hot dog. You can be a hot dog, man.
Right.
Yeah.
But great show. Thank you guys for coming on. I know you were reaching out to me. It's been a crazy transition period for me in my real life with work and things going on there. So luckily I had this date come up after a cancellation, so I was able to get you guys in real quick.
Yeah.
Didn't know what to expect. I went into this kind of blind. You guys are awesome. It was an absolute pleasure meeting you guys.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to expect when I looked at the book. And then I was literally just super impressed all the way around.
Yeah.
Like this feels like something like Dynamite or Image or Mad Cave or something like that would put out.
Yes, thank you so much. We didn't submit yet. We were like, let's roll our dice with the crowdfunding first, and then if not, we'll try submitting to one of the bigger guys. But yeah, man, it's been this is my first time doing fully promoting something I've worked on, and it's I'm so proud of it, man. And Lukas has been an unbelievable partner. I mean, like immediately just I get it.
It seems like you guys had instant chemistry.
Yeah, it's been really good. He's a very talented young man. Yeah, I'm way older than him. He's doing way more at his young age than I ever did then.
No, I'm a fellow older. I turned 55 this summer, so I'm.
You don't look it. Get out of here. It's 40 times.
Oh, he does. Don't fool you. He does. He's old.
Just keeping it real.
Yeah. Keep it real.
All right. Well, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Everybody, check out the original Gangster. One way or another, we will get it to you. So
links are in the description below. We have the gangstercomics.com website below. We have the Gangster Comics IG below. And we also have the Gangster Comics Kickstarter link below. Lukas, you'll have to contact me on Instagram and follow me, and I'll once I get your information, I'll go back and I'll add it to the description as well to get you some more followers.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, I really appreciate
me too.
Guys.
Yeah, pleasure to meet you guys, and thank you to all of you who hung out with us live tonight. We had a fun little crowd there, some good hot dog chat. Also, for all of you catching us on the rewind, thank you for checking it out. Go give these guys a follow, check out their links, and as we like to end these things, you know how we do it here. We say, keep it casual.